Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Mariella, and my channel is In the Kitchen with Mariella. Well, today we're not going to be in the kitchen. We're going to do a garden tour. But first, I want to show you what I did this weekend. Come over here. I harvested my herbs, and they're hanging to dry. I got herbs from the back door, over here on this side, and I even have some in the living room. So from the back door to the front door, I have herbs drying. So come on, let's go outside and see the rest of the garden. Okay, first off, we have our straggly tomato plants. As soon as they all turn ripe, they'll be pulled out. I think I got 15 large tomatoes and a bunch of cherry tomatoes that still need to ripen. I'll be out here today picking the ones that are ripe so Buddy can have his cherry tomatoes. Now in this container with the tomatoes, I already planted more beets because the tomato plants shaded the beets that I planted in the spring, so they didn't grow. So now that it's time to plant the fall garden, I went ahead and planted more beets to see if they'll come up. And then, of course, we have our peppermint and our lemon balm. Now, in this container, I planted spinach. I took out the nasturtiums and planted spinach in this one. And then over here, I left one pepper plant because it had blooms and peppers on it. And then the oregano is still there because it'll come back next year also. But underneath the boards is my carrots. I planted carrots in this tote. And from everything I've watched, it said to get your carrots to grow, when you first plant them, you put a board, you water them, and then put a board over them until they germinate. And then when you see them coming out of the ground, you take the boards off, and that should ensure you germination and growth on your carrots. And then over here, this is our herbs. I cut them all back like you've seen in the house. They're drying. And the thyme and rosemary are already growing. And I just did this on Saturday. I just cut them back, but they're growing already again. And then there's our spearmint plant. And then over here, I have 2 containers of kale and 1 container of Swiss chard, because they're a cool crop, and even after the frost, they actually get better tasting after the frost. So hopefully they will start growing. I've been coming out and giving them a little bit of water every evening just to keep the seeds moist. But I planted them on Sunday, so there really ain't nothing growing yet. But each one of them said it would take 7 to 10 days to germinate. So by next week, we should have some growth in here. Now to the flowers. We have some 4 o'clocks, which are closing up for the morning and afternoon. And then this evening, they'll open back up. And then we have our zinnias. And then we have our cosmos. Looks like I need to come out and harvest some zinnia seeds and some cosmos seeds. And then the main attraction, we have our sunflowers. And I'm coming out here. Sorry, it's a little bouncy. I'm coming out here so you can see how tall they are. They go clean to the roof. And then today, when my neighbor comes out, I think I'm going to have her help me take some twine and put some twine around them so I can pull them back so they don't fall over, because that's the problem. They get top heavy and then they just end up like that little one on the ground. It gets top heavy and then it just falls over. And I want to keep my sunflowers as long as I can, because there's a lot that ain't even opened up yet. But yeah, that's my favorite flower. And then over here on this side, we have volunteer 4 o'clocks. And this is what a 4 o'clock looks like up close. It opens in the evening and stays open all night, and then it closes during the daytime, and then it'll open back up this evening. And then we have our marigolds, and I don't know what all's in here. I know there's a bunch of marigolds and some zinnias. And I don't know what else. Black-eyed Susans, I see. But the rest of it, I don't know. And a bunch of weeds. A bunch of weeds. Because when I planted this, it was a seed pack of perennial flowers. And I didn't know what was flowers and what was weeds. And I still don't know for sure. But yeah. I think because of the heat, my tomatoes just didn't do as well this year. I think it was just too hot. But as soon as they get done, like I said, I'll come out and harvest what's ripe today. And then we'll see what's left. I might just go ahead and pick the green tomatoes and just have fried green tomatoes, so I can get them out of there and finish planting. Because I want to plant some radishes and some lettuce. It's funny. Everybody eats salads in the summertime, but lettuce is a cool weather crop. And it's funny. And of course, we're headed back in the house. And who meets us at the door but Buddy? He's looking for his tomatoes. Here's your tomatoes. See? He's eating his tomatoes. He loves cherry tomatoes. He thinks that every time we did you get your tomatoes? So yeah, so that's what I'm planting in the fall garden. But a lot of people don't realize that you have to plant lettuce early in the spring or in the fall because it's a cool weather crop. When they grow it in the summer, they don't get to harvest much of it because it bolts so fast. So, and it's also frost tender. So, like, I need to get it planted so it'll grow. And then I'm going to put it in a pot that I can bring in the house. So that way, when there's a chance of frost, I can bring it in and then take it out during the day and just bring it in at night. But that's my plan. So I can have lettuce all winter. But what are you guys, if you're going to plant a garden, what are you planting for your fall garden? Because I can't wait. I like fall vegetables. I think next year I'm going to try to plant some turnips and some parsnips and maybe some rutabaga, because I call them old-fashioned vegetables. Because today's gardeners, they don't plant them kind of vegetables. And I love them. So I'm thinking about planting some of them. And if I can figure out how to, next year, if I can figure out how to plant some butternut squash or some acorn squash in the spring, without it spreading all over the landlord's grass, I might try to trellis it and see if I can do it that way. So that way I can have some squash next year. But yeah, the landlord don't like my things growing all over his grass. And those 4 o'clocks that I showed you a close-up of, I did not plant those there. They came back. They came up voluntarily. I didn't even have them planted there last year. They were up next to the house last year. And how the birds got some seeds or something, and they ended up growing right there, right behind the tomato plants. What do you want? You don't like to be on camera, but you want attention. But yeah, that's what I did this weekend. Cleaned out my springtime, summertime garden and started on my fall garden. So I want to thank you all for watching my video. And I will see you all on Friday. Remember to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a comment, and share my video. I would appreciate it. And as always, don't let anyone steal your sunshine or take your smile. Have a good day. Bye-bye.